o'clock, I call the meeting of the Atoka Municipal Golf Authority to order. Ask everyone to rise as we do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Face the flag, salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you bow with me, please? Most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you this evening. Lord, just asking your blessings over this meeting. Lord, just give us the knowledge to do the very best that we can to further the city and the golf course, Lord, and to do the very best we can with the things that are provided to us. Lord, just be with each and every one as they leave here tonight. Give them a safe trip home. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. And at this time, I'd ask the clerk to call roll, please.
Ms. Thomas? Here. Mr. Burridge?
Here.
Mr. Henderson?
Here.
Mr. Armstrong? Chairman Kathy?
Here. As we move down the agenda, the public comment time, this is anything that is not on the posted agenda. If you wish to address the board at this time, you may.
Is the new logo or the name change?
If you'll need to come up to the podium, sorry, so they can hear you. You're being recorded, so this is on YouTube, so congratulations.
Is the new prospect of a name change, is that on the agenda, or has anyone talked about that?
We can't get into a back and forth discussion under comments.
Right.
We can have a trustee comment time at the
There
end.
is no agenda thing for
Yeah.
new logo or name change. It's not on the agenda tonight, but if you want to talk to the board about what you'd like to see happen, you can do that at this time.
Right now? Okay,
Yeah.
so I had my lady that does our stuff for us, make new some prospective new logos, and we talked about a name change, and I sent it to CJ and he sent it to Mark, and I know it's floating around a little bit, but even if we didn't want to name the golf course Burning Pines or whatever, I would like to revamp our logo at the very least, or if we come up with a name, that's great. If not, let's revamp our logo. You know, it's kind of a new beginning. If we want to keep it Atoka Trails, that's up to you guys, that's up to whoever it's up to. But I just think it would be prudent to you know, kind of look at that, because that logo, it's got like an oak tree on it. I mean, we're obviously, you know, covered in pine trees and stuff, so it's just not really fitting. And I think it would be really cool if we could think about that. It's not a lot of money to get a new logo. I mean, she charged me $100. It's just, but yeah, I sent that to CJ and I've got it on my phone. If there's 5 of them on there, they all look really cool. I can pass that around and let everybody look at it, you know, before we leave or whatever y'all think. So that's all I had on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We'll have to follow up. If that's something you guys want to discuss, we'll have to make sure and get that on our next agenda, so.
Okay.
Y'all just let me know, or let Susan know.
Where's that music coming from?
Brian, are we on the agenda?
For what item? Grass?
Yeah, we're talking.
Yeah, there's an item on here for the grass.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Any other public comments this time? It's not on anything's not on the posted agenda. Hearing none, we'll move down to the business agenda. Item number 1, discussion and/or action regarding approving or rejecting the minutes of the meeting of June 17th, 2024. Once had a time to look at those, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make it
To approve?
to approve.
Okay, have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas? Aye. Mr. Burridge?
Aye.
Chairman Kathy?
Aye. Item number 2, discussion and/or action regarding accepting or rejecting the superintendent's report. Good evening, Mr. CJ. How are you, sir?
Well, despite all the heat, our greens are for sure alive. I've talked to Marcus and Randy, kind of kept in touch and sent them pictures, and about once a week talk to Bill and just basically asking him what am I supposed to be looking at. And so far, every week, we've been ahead of what we should be looking at, so if I had to take a guess, I think we're 2 or 3 weeks ahead of schedule right now. Now, that's not gonna directly reflect, you know, when we start getting towards the end of this thing, you know, shortcutting it there at the end.
Not to, what was the original date
The
you were?
original date, if they was to come in May, when they were supposed to, would have been August first.
Okay.
But since they come a month later because of all the rain, September first is now our date.
Okay.
You know, that's the 12-week mark, that's the 12 weeks that they gave us as kind of a cushion. Now, I'm kind of playing with the idea of maybe being able to shave a couple weeks off of that, just because we're doing so good. That'll all come down to what Marcus and Randy say when they show up and look it over, you know, because if they say that we need to wait 2 weeks, then we're gonna wait 2 more weeks.
When are they coming?
They'll be here probably around 1st of August, just to kind of take a peek at it.
Have they been here at all, or are you just doing everything
No,
over the phone?
just sending them pictures, telling them kind of what my fertilization schedule is and how it's responding. And I told them, first day I sanded, first day I mowed, and, you know, I said everything's good. Just, you know, they actually think that I need to be shaving them down a little more than I am, which is why I took the greens mower on them yesterday and actually cut them to half an inch. So that really flattened them out. And when we get some more sand on there, I can only see it, you know, growing in that much faster, so. Of course, already got in, the greens have been fertilized every 5 days since June 10th, which was the day that they laid them. Some areas with lots of grassy weeds have received another spray application, so that's why we got a lot of patchy stuff in some of the rough areas that are in play. It's because we killed out yet another round of Dallas grass, and now it's actually down to dirt now. As of today, greens have been top dressed twice and rolled twice, and mowed 3 times. And I plan on mowing again on Friday and going down there 1/4 inch on Friday. Work has begun on getting the immediate areas around the greens, which is what I started yesterday. I put a spray application, 30 foot all the way around every green yesterday to kind of get some of that trash under control and killed out, since we didn't get to do that before we sprayed, because I couldn't put anything with pre-emergent on that dirt, otherwise it would have affected how the sprigs grew. So I just left it alone, and that's kind of why it's been what it is. But now it's been sprayed yesterday morning, and there was things that was already brown today, so I feel like I got a pretty good roast on it. And now we're throwing water back on it, should just be Bermuda grass that grows back. Shouldn't have any issues there, I don't see. I've ordered 3 more loads of sand, because I'm gonna start getting the sand bunkers. In the next 2 weeks, I hope to have those things up and running and completely done, even though we won't be using them. I'd rather have them ready to go when it's time to go, rather than just wait until the last minute, so. And with those 3 loads.
Is there a couple of them that we're gonna do away with?
Just one.
For drainage?
On the northeast side of number 2 green, so the bigger bunker,
Yeah.
just because of drainage
Right.
issues, we can't keep, there's no way we can keep water, and I can't put a full mobile, you know, all the way around in front of that green to stop all the water, so. It'll still look kinda like a bunker, but it'll be more of a grassy bunker, so it's just a better option. And we might even make the other one bigger, I don't know. Just kinda depends on what we get into. I edged all the greens with an edger, you know, to kind of establish this is the fringe, these are green. So, and what we did was I took an edger with an actual blade on it, went all the way around, established that line, and then we pulled all the Bermuda grass runners out of the green side and kept it, you know, on the fringe side, because it's gonna be a whole lot easier to keep that common out of the greens than it is to keep it out of the fringe. I don't really see a way to keep it out of the fringe, unless we edge that too, which I haven't really seen a whole lot of that on other courses or anything that I've looked up. So, you know, at worst, we'll just have a common /TIF/ maybe another hybrid thrown in there, multi-green color fringe, and then the green will be all TIF. So I don't think it's Looking forward, obviously, most of the focus this month was placed on the greens in hopes of getting it established and having no issues with that stuff and making sure we're healthy going forward. As I said before, everybody so far, even the spring guys, are impressed of how fast they've grown in.
It's
And-
pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
they've never seen it come in that fast, so I hope there's not a downside to that, since
Yeah.
nobody's gotten into that far.
How much sand did you put on it?
I probably put 1,000 pounds per green so far.
And that worked pretty good as far as.
Yeah, and I've talked with a couple other superintendents, and they think I need to be putting more sand, so this next round, I'm gonna really bury
Yeah.
it, just see what happens. You know, it shouldn't, we're putting plenty of water on there, fertilizer, it shouldn't stress it out that much, I don't think, but hopefully it just, within a couple of days, it's back and we're good in the green. But, and I might even do that on Wednesday before that rain comes in. So beat it down a little bit, flatten it out.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get another 2.5 inch rain and 30%.
Is that not conducive for sand smoothing?
It'll be on the bottom.
Can you tell a difference in them since you
Oh,
were
yeah.
sanding them this last time?
Yeah, I mean, even, which, you know, with the top dresser that we have, it's not the greatest. So sometimes it'll start dumping just clumps instead of spreading it nice and evenly. So, but what I have noticed is the areas that got a thicker amount of sand already have new green growth on them. I don't really know why that is. I don't know if it's just temperature of the sand that keeps it growing all that long or what, but it has flattened out a lot, and especially after I took that greens mower on there yesterday. You know, I've taken a golf ball and it pretty much holds a straight line, just, you know, a little bit bumpy, but it'll hold a straight line and roll, so. And realistically, it probably rolls just as good as our temp greens right now. So, I think a little bit of sand, a little more sand, a little bit more roll, and it's gonna flatten out.
I rolled one on them last week and
It's a little bumpy, yeah. Now, that for sure took the top of those clumps out this time.
Good, good.
You know, I actually had quite a bit of thatch built up. I had to go over a lot of the greens twice just to spread it out, but, so. I've been seeing, what I have liked is on the weekends, we've actually had quite a bit of play on the weekends. You know, whether that's other golf courses being full and us not being full, whatever, I like it. And everybody, I think, is starting to see what we're trying to do, and I think they're starting to get with the program and understand, and really looking forward. We've even had phone calls asking us if our greens are done, and so there's a lot of people interested, and they're just, you know, kind of just sitting on wait right now on red. So I think when we do get on these greens, this place it's gonna be a little bit of chaos for a little while, but it'll be okay.
Well, I think all the more reason to just make sure the greens are 110% ready to go, because they are going to get a considerable amount of play, I think.
Chairman, I keep up pretty close with the weekend, because the weekends pretty much determine our, you know, our financial condition for the month, and we've been maintaining in between that $1,250 to $1,500 a weekend. And, you know, prior to us starting the Springs project, we would, a really good weekend was $3,000. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so when we first did our budget, when we started thinking about this project, we in our budget, we had non-member play would be down, revenue not from non-member play would be down 70%. So we've actually beat that by about 20% right now, 20 to 25%. So that's good to see. And membership, we were concerned membership would drop way down, but we haven't seen that at all. In fact, we've gained 3 members this past 7 days.
Great.
I guess to finish out, obviously, I can't wait for this thing to be done. The one thing I'd have to say is again, keep your board. So, the best is yet to come, just be patient.
Any other questions for the superintendent? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr., sorry, Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
Chairman Kathy.
Aye. Item number 3, discussion and/or action on approving or rejecting the payment of the purchase orders for the month of June 2024. Any questions on the,
I have no questions.
hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I'll make it. We approve it?
Have a motion to approve, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
Chairman Kathy.
Aye. Item number 4, discussion and/or action on creating a women's group for the golf course. Who, do I?
That would be me.
That you? Okay.
I thought that was you, Brian.
I have,
I just wanted to run it by y'all. Nothing's in stone yet, but I just wanted to make sure y'all were okay with that. Cause it might take up one of, like one evening a week, maybe Thursday. That's what I was kinda thinking
I
about.
think it would be fantastic to do something that would get more women engaged with the golf course and out there playing.
Don't know, all the particulars yet. CJ had mentioned maybe trying to get a pro from somewhere to come in and give some lessons. And I
That
don't
would
know
be-
what, we'll have to
That would be the way to get someone interested.
get some,
Just
we'll have
get
to,
someone that could give them an idea.
we'll have to figure up a rate. And, but, as long as, I just wanted to make sure y'all were okay
Yeah.
with it
I
before.
would love to see your framework
would too.
you come up with on something like that.
Okay.
Chris, if you, do I need to go in there?
yeah, we try not to talk from the audience. If you'd like to speak, feel free to come up.
No.
No, absolutely, you're more than welcome to come up.
I was just gonna say, we have our Players Association, if you need any help, just let me know.
Perfect.
We got, I think we got like $1,300 or something in there, so if we can be of any assistance, we'd love to.
Great. All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. So, are you making a motion to create a women's golf group at the golf course with the components of that to come in the future?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sound all right?
Is that?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, do I need to, like, come up with a budget and,
If there's gonna be fees charged, what, if indeed you do bring in a pro, what's that cost? What's the, the structure for those that would utilize the pro to be in the group, or what's the group
okay,
structure to be part of that group? It's
And
kind
how that affects
of a
us.
unique scenario, because we've had to change things up. We have attorneys here that change things on us, so, as far as membership versus fees to use the
Yeah,
course, so,
if there are any fees associated with the women's group, it's something that would have to be approved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you want to, spend money to do something for the women's group, you would just put it on as an agenda item
okay.
at an upcoming meeting.
Well, if it went through the Players Association, would it need,
No.
Would have
okay,
nothing to do.
we'd just be a one-on-one with each other
Yeah.
on that?
yeah.
Okay.
So, would we be better off to table this agenda item until there's actually something to vote on?
No, I think it would be fine to just show that you guys are all in agreement that a women's group is something you're willing to sponsor on behalf of the Amga. And then, later on, if there's specifics y'all need to approve, you can do that.
Okay. So then there's a motion on the floor and a second.
Yes.
Is there any other comments, discussion?
Don't think so.
Hearing none, do it. Roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Chairman Kathy.
Aye. Item number 5, discussion and/or action on mowing height of rough grass or rough areas. Gentlemen?
Yeah. We like on number 4, where the trees are, I'm sure y'all drove down there. And where the trees are, I meant the grass is like a foot tall down there by that big old stump.
You're talking about between number 8 and number 4 fairway?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's high on the table, just a little bit from all that. And at the Bermuda grass about foot tall, you lose your ball and you can't find it. And I'm not as long as I used to be, and I can't knock it fast as hardly. So,
I can
but
relate.
anyway, you know, and a lot of the old men, they asked us to come and suggest this, if we could get that mowed, just under them trees. I mean, because from there on down, they've got it all mowed, under the trees and everything. But around that stump and back up, I mean, it's not all Bermuda grass, but, you know, we'd like to see if we could get that mowed. And on number 5, we'd like to see if we could get that mowed around. We've got a chair out there that you can sit down in, and the grass is high as the chair,
About the tee boxes.
by the tee boxes. You know, around the tee boxes, I mean, it looks bad. You know, I mean, I go to a lot of different golf courses, and you don't see none of that, you know. But I realize, I know we're starting all over, and we're doing everything good, you know, I mean, the greens are looking good. I'm proud of them.
Amen.
You know, and, you know, like number 5 there, and like on number 6 and 7, I mean, especially 6 hitting into that par 3, I mean, it's kind of ugly, because it's not a solid grass, it's just a bunch of grass here, and it wouldn't take 5 or 10 minutes to mow that path where you're looking toward the green, you know, make it look nice. I mean, to me, what brings people in is looks, you know, and just that, and also, I think we've got a brush hog, didn't we buy a John Deere brush hog or something? I mean, I notice how pretty mowed it is around by the clubhouse, looks nice, right? But right down there at that corner, you know, Darryl used to keep that mowed, you know, he finally cleaned it up. I mean, it's this tall now, but if we could mow that to the kind of the edge of the water, you know, make it look nice.
Along
And
number
if
9.
people start driving in there, we'll put up stakes or something like we do all them other places.
You talking about right, number
Right there.
9, number 9 fairway?
Number 9,
Okay.
yeah, you know, and, the cart paths, it'd be nice if if we could buy some more gravel. Have y'all seen them? They're getting pretty bad. I mean, it's nobody's fault, all this rain we've had, and worse them,
Yeah.
you know. And I noticed we got a 90-degree rule sign on our new sign place, you know, but, nobody wants to drive on the cart paths. You know, I mean, and number 1, I mean, that brand new cart path we built is starting to wash underneath the concrete. And I'm pretty sure we don't have no steel in that, do we? It's just all concrete, ain't it?
I don't think so.
Concrete fiberglass. That's gonna break. It would be nice if we could run, I'm just suggesting.
Sure.
It'd be nice if we could run a little bit of gravel,
Yeah.
the kind of gravel that packs. You know what I'm saying? Like an inch back pressure run, something like that, to keep it from rushing underneath our brand new cart path. I love that cart path. And more people would do the 90-degree rule, you know, and then try to get off that cart path to do your 90-degree rule. It drops about that far, don't it, Chris?
I agree.
You know, and it'd be nice if, you know, that wouldn't cost much. I'm not up here trying to spend a lot of money for it.
Understand.
But the course is it's looking great. I'm looking forward to the greens. And I'm glad to hear him say what he said about the sand bunkers, because they look awful. But, sound like he's gonna take care of that.
Yeah.
So, that's good. But, you know, if we could just get a little bit of that mowed through there, you know, and then once you get it down, that brand new lawnmower we got, it won't take long to mow around that chair and right around that, you know, and from number 6 to the, you know, right in that area to the cart path,
Yeah.
you look a lot better, you know. When I go play golf somewhere, I like to go where they look nice. Don't y'all? Sure you do. I like a nice looking golf course. And ours will be nice, and I know it's gonna take time. But, I'm really concerned about number 1, because if we get some more clay sludge, it's gonna wash on underneath there, and eventually that will break, and then look what we got, a patch job.
Yeah.
that we don't need, you know. But, a lot of them, they're not gonna do that night, they're gonna hop over on the fairway's looking great, matter of fact, and they're really growing good.
Yeah, they
I like them. We ain't had that much Bermuda grass on number one, and I don't know when. Well, I don't never know when until now, you know.
No, I
But
agree.
it's looking good, but, this is just a few things. Us old men, we're getting to lose a lot of balls out there because the grass is, we can't find them. And I used to go out there and play golf a month and never lose a ball. But now I lose a ball every week out there, you know. But if we just get them little areas.
Bobby, I try not to play around the golf without at least 4 to 5 sleeves of balls in my bag, no matter where I'm playing, because that's the quality of golfer that I am. So I just know that's my investment everywhere I play golf, so.
Well, I've learned to hack them a little bit better. I ain't as good as Chris. Chris don't lose balls. But I ain't as good as she is. But that's kind of what we're looking at, you know. And them big clumps of grass on number 1 and number 3, where Darryl had them weed, I call them weed things. Now we just got big clumps of grass.
Where is it?
Number,
Oh,
on
number
number
two.
1
In
and 3.
front of
Number
number
three.
3.
There's one on 1 over here. It's, you know, it's excess dirt from you know, doing the greens. The
Oh.
same way on number 3. Is there any way we can get that dozed off while we got a dozer over there?
Well, I think
They're actually moguls,
Huh?
moguls,
Bows.
moguls for texture in the fairways.
is
Yeah.
there,
But you did discuss trimming them up shortly.
Yeah, they're not gonna look like what they look like right now.
I mean, because they're this deep.
Yeah.
You can lose a ball in there too.
Yeah.
I know.
you're right, yeah, I know
You
what
know
you're
the
talking
point?
about.
I have, you know. And not only that, we kinda gotta look at this as a business. I mean, you have a lot of little kids coming out there. If the ball goes in that weeds and there's a copperhead in there,
That's good.
and you got high weeds, they stick their hand there, they get bit.
That's a good point.
You know, we don't want that to happen, you know? And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we want people to come to our course and say, hey, that course is nice.
It's getting there.
It's getting there, you know? I'm not complaining, I'm just suggesting.
That's okay, we want
But,
that.
but it's gonna be pretty. And I'm really concerned about the number 1 carpet. I don't wanna see it break. I really don't. I don't know what a load of gravel costs, probably $300-400. I don't know. But, anyway, can you think of anything else, Jimmy?
Pretty much got it, just.
That's
be
all
able
we're
to find your
suggesting.
ball If you do get out of the fairway.
Yeah, you know, and,
Have it at least as.
because we do have copperheads out there on Topo Golf Course and water moccasins. So you get the grass too high, you know, and you're reaching down there for balls, you can get, you know, I hope nobody does, but, you know, if there's just a few places we'd like to see mowed, you know, because we play it every week.
Several times a week.
Yep, 3 times, yeah. We
You
lose
play
at
it
least
probably
3 balls a week.
more than about
So, that's
Yeah.
all I have to say.
And your opinion matters. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
Your group, we wanna hear from y'all.
We
When you're
appreciate
part
you.
of this course, you're welcome to come
Well, I was thinking it was a
and
members
say,
course.
it is a members course
Yeah.
and,
And that's why we're here,
and-
because
and
we're not
we're-
trying to tell y'all,
yep.
we're just making suggestions here, because, you know, it's a members course is what I was told. Members have the right to say stuff and get stuff done
Yep.
too.
We appreciate it, cause it's your course too.
Yeah, and that's,
Right.
You've got a
and
right
and it's a
to-
different format now,
Right.
just because now it's under trust of the city.
Right,
We're not trying to take any of those abilities away from
Right.
anybody that's been out there at the course for a number of years. Want you to come, happy to put anything on the agenda we need to
Yeah.
discuss,
exactly.
because that's how we all get on the same page.
Hey, if we don't have the money to do it, no problem. But, you know,
Now, do we need to address some of this now with CJ, or is this something that we table and have a discussion about?
The only thing you are allowed to address tonight would be the mowing of the rough areas. I
Yes.
know he's mentioned some other things, but you can't
Yeah.
discuss those because they weren't on the agenda tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's been things, I went out and toured the course with CJ the other day, and there were some other items and things we talked about that, how do we build a list that way the rest of the
Yeah.
membership can see what items are coming in the future?
Well-
Yeah. And that way we kind of build that punch list off of
Right.
ideas.
Well, and as far as the moguls that you're talking about, that is that's coming in the future. That's not that's kind of ground under repair. If you get in there, you should be able to move around, because that's not the way it's gonna be. in the
Well, I think he's
future.
more concerned about the grass being so high on them. And, which, right now, you can't mow them because they're,
Right.
but, you know, I guess you could weed eat them.
Well, and they're actually past the temporary greens, aren't they? Are they past the temporary?
Number one's even with it, number two, or number
Number
three
three
is.
is
Three's in
short.
front of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know how you know them. I mean,
Good.
they're pretty,
Yeah.
Pretty.
yeah.
Well, I think too, you don't confuse, that to be what you're seeing now is to be the final
Yeah.
product.
Okay, I mean, because I was thinking, Joe was thinking that's pretty, those pretty like mine.
Yeah.
No, it's just, it's really, it's just kind of
And
there,
it's just a lump of dirt there.
it's
grass
just
is
kind
over
of
it,
there as storage right now.
Just waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not the finished product at all.
okay.
Well, and we have been focused on the greens. I mean, really.
Well,
focused
I
on the
understand
greens.
that y'all been focused on the greens, and well, the greens
Yeah.
are looking good,
Yeah.
and I hope they're ready by September. If not, hey, we're willing to wait another month or two. We want them right.
Hope we don't have to.
Now, I hope we don't have to, they're gonna be.
So don't mess it up, is what he's saying.
Well, you know, water and fertilizer is about all, you know, that's all you can do, you know, unless you get some bugs in there and start eating on it or something.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Well, we'll have a discussion of where you're losing all the golf balls.
Yeah, can I get
Maybe we can
reimbursement?
address that.
Only if you pay for the ones you find while you're out.
Just
I
follow
don't
Brian
think
around.
Yeah, all you gotta do is follow, all you gotta do is follow me around, you'll have all the balls you need, I promise you, I can
I
assure
mean, I
you.
lost one the other day on 4, and I found 4 or 5 other balls that wasn't mine, that they couldn't find either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to a certain extent, you know, rough is, you know, this ain't the US Open. You know what I mean?
Thank
It
goodness.
don't have to be 6 inches tall. It can be 2 inches and still look really nice. You know, I like the way they've got the grass right there in front of number 9, in front of the water. You've probably seen it.
Yes.
How they mowed it like 3 or 4 foot there.
Yeah.
It's about that, you know, your ball goes in, you can still see the top of your ball.
Right.
And it's, boy, it's hard to hit out of it, because I hit out of it the other day, and it pulled that ball, and it went that way, but that looks really nice, you know? And I'm hoping we can get the rest of it kind of look like that.
Good.
But we appreciate y'all mow that, especially around that stump. All them old men told us, hey, you going up, or you tell them about that stump. And you know what stump I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Which stump are you talking about? Sorry.
I'm familiar with
Huh?
that stuff.
Which, I'm sorry,
It's right at the end of them trees on 4, as you're going down 4,
all the way down the
Is
fairway?
it on the left side?
on the
going
right
down?
side.
On the
Right.
right side.
As you're going down.
Between
It's
4
all
and 8.
gravel, you know what, all the rocks and stuff. And then as soon as you run out of the rocks, it's Bermuda grass about a foot tall, and there's a big old stump there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably seen it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in my head.
But you never hit the ball there, so you're a long knocker. So you don't never, you don't know what that stuff looks like. Thank y'all.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Bobby.
you, Bobby.
Appreciate it.
Mayor, you didn't get his name for the minutes.
Oh, Bobby, would you state your name for the minute, sorry? I'm being corrected,
Yeah.
but,
My name's Bobby Smith.
thank you, Bobby.
Good.
Any other, you good?
He actually reiterated everything we was talking about, just
Okay.
trying to get the fairway so we can find the ball.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's that?
We need to ask if anyone wants to say anything.
Gentlemen, anybody else have anything to say on this item while the agenda item's still up? And sorry, I should have done that a while ago if you'd state
Very
yours.
good. I wish I'd done it when they were in here. Some of those spots where you're talking about where the grass is really high, so I know we had talked about we're having some native areas and stuff like that, so I would just encourage everyone to just be patient. Let's see how those things come up. We got some right, you know, there's just certain things that CJ's doing, he's waiting on the grass to come in, and he's communicated that to me on multiple occasions. I don't know if he's had that dialogue with those guys. If it is somewhere where it's knee-high grass where they, you know, like right of 4, it's just, that grass has never come in very good. It's just one of those deals we're trying to get it to come in and trying to do some things to make grass grow while we're able to mow before the greens, and all that stuff's been communicated to me. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that it's not just, you know, there are places where we need to have discussions about what we can do to make it prettier and stuff. and that's what we're here for, but as far as that short of 5 up by the tee box where he was talking about, that's just gonna be a native area, and I think it looks pretty, so I guess we all just think something different looks pretty. Like, you know, you guys have been to the bridges, where they've got those places that are well off the fairway, which I hit it, and I lose dozens of golf balls there, and I still love to go play there, so. Yeah, tall grass is part of golf, just like short grass.
Corbin, state your name.
Corbin Me Happy.
Okay.
Do I need to get up there if
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Jason Nutt. I just wanted to kind of reiterate what he's saying too. I mean, I think from what I've understood, we're trying to go for a little bit different aesthetic. We're not trying to be like every other golf course out there. We want to have something that stands out and, you know, it's a little bit challenging, but not necessarily impossible to play. Like you said before, there's really every golf course you can play balls. That's just how we play. But I would just have to agree with Corbin, you know, some of those areas that they're talking about are just kind of under repair, and we're trying to establish a good grass spot there before we can spray it and manicure it and make it look nice. So, but yeah, that's why it's.
Well, and I think y'all got great ideas, but these old men play out there every day too, 3 days a week. They're there. So if you just consider, you know, when they make a suggestion, or if they're really having trouble somewhere, if you'll just talk to them and maybe either explain why or try to get them on board, because they spend a lot of time out there, more time than probably any of us.
Yeah,
So
I would agree.
just kind of listen to them and, okay.
Thank you.
And if there's possibilities of figuring out a happy medium on
Yeah.
one fairway, or maybe, I don't know, you know,
Well-
it depends on, you know, I'm coming in on the back end of this. This has been a conversation for years before this trust was put together, so I'm gonna
Well-
reserve comment more or less, because I don't know all the other communications that have been had
I
out
think-
there over these items and the
And
levels of
they're
the grasses.
used to a different way of playing than the direction that we're taking this. And you may need to feed it to them slow, maybe, you know, give a little here and then maybe let it grow up next year.
Well, I would say like on the fairways, just driving around looking at the fairways, the improvement to the sod on the fairways alone will shorten the drive exponentially compared to
Yeah.
what used to be there. I mean, I used to count on a couple of good skips and hops and ricochet off a couple of rocks and maybe a tree to get on down the fairway where I needed to go. Where now, when it hits, it's gonna be a lot shorter roll to stop, and so, and then second,
Well,
third
and
shot.
some of these guys off the tee box don't. I mean, they hit it on the ground and it has to roll. And I don't know, I really hadn't seen what kind of carry they have to get to the fairway from the tee box.
Max.
50 yards? Yeah. Well, that was the biggest complaint I heard, was basically off the tee box getting to the fairway. But like I said, I haven't seen it. And I'm ready to see how things play out. I just know that they are part of this organization and we need to
Yeah, important to everybody is,
listen to them a little bit.
my take, as somebody who's been involved for a little bit, like everybody else here, is that, to me, what we're with some of these older gentlemen that are kind of complaining about the rough, this to me is a function of success, in that we've had a lot of success at that course the past couple of years in changing it, making it better. So I'll bring up that word change. Well, change is hard. People don't
It
like
is.
change. So that's a lot, I believe, what's going on. Now, that said, I can get behind, okay, like Bobby said, I can get behind weed eating around the stump. But right now, to my mind, it's just not the right time to go drastically change everything that we're trying to accomplish. And remember this too, we have a limited staff with limited resources. We have more grass down than we've ever had. And so if we're gonna start maintaining it all like they want, then, you know, there's gonna come a time we're gonna have to consider adding more staff out there. And if we add more staff out there, we're gonna have to raise member dues, donor dues, to accommodate that increased cost. And we're not done yet with this, because our fairways are probably 20 to 30% better than they were 2 years ago, and they're gonna be 20 or 30% better 2 years from now. More grass to mow. And we got this
And
big.
more often.
And more often. And we've got this big fairway mower they talk about. Well, that's not gonna cut weeds. I don't think it will.
No, won't touch it.
So you can't use that now, do we have brush hog? Yeah. Do we have access to one? Yeah. But at the same time, we're trying to focus on the parts that matter right now, increasing our fairways, making sure these greens come in right. And so, not that I'm glad they came and talked. I agree with them. But to my mind is, let's see what the general construct looks at when everything's completed, and then come in behind that.
And in my last couple of visits out there over the last week and a half, several of the members have come up to me about the height of the grass, and that's, some of the things you said, there's limited resources as far as, and I don't have any idea how many hours, I'm not seeing the hours on how many hours a week are being spent out there working, but I just can only imagine the amount of hours we're spending just trying to keep all the brand new greens alive, alone,
Yeah.
without anything else being touched on that course. And then all the spraying that CJ told me about.
One
that
other
they're
point I
doing.
would like to make about one of the things Bobby said, well, Daryl used to keep that mowed down. Well, Daryl had focused primarily on the greens. He didn't have to focus on fairways as much. He never hardly ever watered the fairways unless there was a drought. And that was with just plugging in a hose and spraying manually. And I don't blame Daryl for focusing on the greens, because they were bent grass, which is intolerable for this climate, and those greens were probably 40 years old. The average lifespan of a green is like 20 years. And that's if you do it right, doing it USGA certified. Ours are push-up greens. So Daryl didn't have to spend all that time on the fairways like we do now, on the rough like we're trying to grow now. So it's just a totally different ballgame. It's more expensive, it's more time consuming, and so we're not comparing apples to apples. That's how I see it. I'd like to know how y'all see it.
Well, I think, well, I know we're on this item on the mowing height, but, those are, with the membership and having these different, again, cart pass, those kind of things. These are, I think, building that checklist of projects and then putting some budgetary numbers of those projects and saying, okay, this year we can accomplish, after the greens are in, the fairways, then what's next?
Mhm.
And showing the rest of the membership that vision of increasing cart pass, whatever upgrades, so we're not having to put derrick gravel down and maintain them, those kind of things. So, I think that may be an option to look at, if everybody else would like to, but, overall, I mean, my visits out there, the amount of effort and work that's gone into that looks incredible.
You kind of made notes of what he was talking about. What is your opinion, CJ?
A couple of those areas are,
Because I know some of it,
yeah,
you haven't had time to,
well,
and I
brought a couple folks out last week just to kind of take a look at it so that I could get their perspective on what it was. But the general idea now is the course as it is maintained right now that we've kind of cleaned up around the greens, and you can see the aprons leading up to it, you can see the different tiers of cuts going in everywhere. It is kind of mowed as it's going to be mowed. The difference is, a year and a half from now, when everything is all Bermuda grass and it's growing in like it should be, how much different it's going to look than it does now. Because we're just, I would say 50% of the way there, on how it's supposed to look. Just simply because a lot of these areas are places that don't get any water, we can't get water to them. So if we do mow them down, they're just gonna die and it's gonna be dirt, or we can leave it and designate it as a natural area that, it's gonna be almost impossible to get something to grow there anyway without spending probably 10 grand on topsoil and doing all that route with it. And there's a couple of spots that I'm just seeing if it will grow grass. Because if it will grow grass, then it can possibly grow Bermuda grass type deal. But all the native areas that are in play right now, or not in play, majority of them are considered anywhere else would be out of bounds, and it's actually given guys a chance to take a hazard shot if they can find it, you know, because you are missing the fairway by 60 or 70 yards. So anywhere else that would be out of bounds. Now, one of the spots that they're talking about, like on number 4, that is just an extension of coming out of that tree line where there's nothing but rocks and stuff in there that it's not gonna grow anything but weeds, unless we do some clearing and topsoil and stuff like that.
And that's the stump that he kept
Yes,
referring
and
to.
that stump's only probably 20 foot, of grass, you know. It's not like it's a gigantic area that's getting unmaintained, you know, just around that stump, there might be 20 foot either way that actually has grass on it, because it's an extension of what's coming out from underneath that tree line. So I kinda tied that stump in there, so that otherwise it would just be a stump that we'd have to grind down, or a stump that's just out there as part of the rough that you can see. And, you know, right now you can't, unless you're just looking, you might not even notice there's a stump there, so.
Well, they gave you some pretty specific areas, so could we just take care of that area right there around the stump for them? And like maybe in front of the number 6 tee box
I
and
can,
around number 5
I can
tee
weed eat
box?
around the stump.
And then
Um,
just mow that area right around there. Cause I mean, you know how that fairway is, everything's gonna go that way anyway.
Yeah.
So I know there are a lot of balls that end up in.
Is that where he was losing all the balls? Was
Yeah.
that the stump on?
I mean, they're not talking about the whole golf course, but, you know, they did mention that one specifically, that area specifically, so if we could concentrate on that area and the area
Think
around
you
number
could
5 tee box.
Give him the stump?
Give them the stump and a bench. There's a bench
Here's my-
somewhere.
I'm okay using a scalpel on some of this stuff, but and me personally, I'm not okay using a broadsword. Just go over it.
You let a bench grow up somewhere, right?
In front of the
What's-
number 5 tee box.
There's a bench.
I'll say it's
Where
not
grass
quite
grew
as
up.
drastic as what they're talking
Why
about.
don't you just move we can just move it then.
We'll just move the
Just
bench
move
down
the
there.
bench. There you go, move the bench and give him the stump.
Yeah. That's what's funny is that bench is actually not by their tee box, so.
Yeah, it's like 300 yards over there.
But move the bench.
Okay. All right, so we good on this comment, this item? No action to be taken, other than discussion?
Discussion.
Moving on down, is there any trustee comments? Hearing none. And I appreciate all the effort. I will say that under trustee comments. There's been an unbelievable amount of work done on that site in the last, 2 years? 2.5?
Yeah.
To,
For CJ, it hadn't even been a year.
right, well, I mean, but to see what has happened and the differences in the quality of what I'm seeing out there
Yeah.
is really, really impressive, and it doesn't happen overnight. And like I said, keep your fork ready. I mean, this isn't an overnight, I mean, if you want it to be overnight, it can be, but
Yeah.
we're about $2 million away from that.
Yeah.
To make that happen, literally. So props to the work that's been done out there. I think it looks amazing. Plenty more yet to do, and you know that, and you know, it's how you eat a whale, one bite at a time, right? So
Yeah.
just keep moving forward, and everything looks really
And the
good.
volunteer work that we've had since this project started.
Brian, have you been playing golf,
I'm about to.
or have you just been out there?
I went out and got to visit a couple of days, so, but no, I will be coming out to play, so. All right. Any other trustee comments? Hearing no more, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll
So-
make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion on the floor, do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Burridge?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Okay.
Chairman Kathy?
I got
Aye.
my clubs out
We are
the other
adjourned,
day and
gentlemen.
bought a
Thank you
big
very much.
bag of
Appreciate it.
balls at Walmart.